As everyone is finishing up their desserts, we would like to go ahead and get started and introduce you to the 2014 National Softball Hall of Fame inductees. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize all of our Hall of Fame members who are in attendance tonight. If you are a Hall of Famer, please stand for a round of applause. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do for ASA USA Softball. After tonight, this elite group moves to 378 people, and we are so fortunate for their commitment to the sport of softball. Now please welcome to the stage ASA USA Softball President Phil Gutierrez.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. And thank you for being here today to witness and participate in the induction of 8 of our finest members to the National and International Hall of Fames. I have to tell you, I feel a little old tonight because over here to my right is Stacy Newman. She doesn't remember this, but I used to umpire her games when she was, I don't know, 10 and under. Something like that, and now she's going into the Hall of Fame. So, congratulations to all the inductees. Congratulations from ASA USA Softball, and to the families of the inductees. Congratulations to you, because without you, those that are being inducted today would not be here getting inducted, because we all know that it takes the love, the support, and help of our friends and family in order to do what we do in softball. So thank you, all inductees, all Hall of Famers that are in here, and the rest of us that are here to witness this great event. Thank you for what you do for ASA USA. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. Tonight, we begin our induction ceremony by honoring an ASA USA softball member who is to be inducted into the ISF Hall of Fame. As a member of the International Softball Federation, it is our privilege to induct honorees from the U.S. into the ISF Hall of Fame. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. E.T. Colvin, who serves as North American Vice President for the ISF, to the stage.
Good evening. Good to see all of you. Before I get started tonight, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Cody, Julie Bartell, and the National Office staff for again putting together another excellent event for us here tonight. So if you would you please give them a round of applause. Good job, good job. As Cody mentioned a few years ago, we began the practice that when one of our ASA family was elected into the ISF Hall of Fame, that we do their induction into the ISF Hall of Fame here at our Hall of Fame banquet. And I have that honor here tonight. Being involved in international softball, you have to be persistent and have a lot of patience. There are a lot of barriers that you have to overcome. Our inductee tonight has worked very hard to put together a senior program at the international level, and it is because of his efforts and success that we honor him tonight. R.B. Thomas has been involved in softball most of his adult life, beginning as a player in 1960. He moved through the ranks as a player, coach, sponsor, and organizer. He managed softball teams for over 32 years until retiring in 2009 after winning 40 national and world championships. He created the International Senior Softball Association, which is an allied member of the ASA. In 1995, he began to organize international Senior Softball Championships and has organized and developed 14 ISF Senior World Cups. He serves as Director of Senior Softball for the ISF. For his involvement and expertise in national and international senior softball, RB has been inducted into 6 Senior Softball Hall of Fames. RB becomes the 9th person from the ASA and the 16th person from the United States to be inducted into the ISF Hall of Fame. For his tireless efforts in the world of senior softball, tonight we induct into the International Softball Hall of Fame, now and forever, from Manassas, Virginia, Mr. R.B. Thomas.
Wow. Thank you, E.T., for the kind remarks. Last year, one time I forgot my glasses. Tonight is certainly a special event for the Thomas family, and I would like to accept this accolade on behalf of her family. Our involvement in the senior division of softball has been a unique and special effort, and one that always includes multiple family members at each event. It is an honor for me to share this stage tonight with the outstanding men and women who are being inducted in the ASA Hall of Fame, class of 2014. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for your years of involvement in our sport. First, I would like to thank God for blessing us with the ability to stay involved in this sport my entire adult life. We were blessed with 7 great children and a rewarding professional career that together enabled us to remain in the sport over all these years. To God be the glory. I would like to thank the International Softball Federation and their Hall of Fame Selection Committee, which elected me last year at the ISF World Congress in Columbia. As we journey through life in any venture, we are always influenced by many others along the way. So tonight I would like to thank everyone who may have crossed my path as I traveled around the world of softball. From the guys in the drafting room back in Salem, Virginia in 1960 who convinced me to come out and play on their team, to the outstanding players who played on my Thomas Engineering team for 32 years. And I would add to the competitors we faced over those years, to the thousands of seniors who for the last 20 years have provided me with input and suggestions, sometimes more than I needed. But tonight I say thanks to all of them. I would be remiss, however, if I did not mention a few individuals that played a key role in any success we may have had in the administration of the sport. In 1994, a couple events occurred. Our local Board of Supervisor chairman asked me to create a sports tourism event for our county, which led to the first ISSA World Championships. And at about the same time, I wrote a lengthy letter to our ASA commissioner with a bunch of suggestions for the ASA National Senior Tournaments. Frank Taylor responded by making me the deputy commissioner for masters and seniors. So since then, I've been involved in some level of administration. From the beginning, 2 ASA officials joined in with us to really raise the level of the senior division of the sport. Lester Leonard, who was Mr. Softball in Northern Virginia, and Charles Moss, who was one of the best umpire UICs I've ever met. They've been with our senior program from the beginning and should share in the fact that we were able to create a favorable program. I would also like to thank 2 old friends from Pennsylvania. Along the way, I was discussing a situation with one of our senior tournaments with Guy DeMayo and asked him if we could allow some international teams to play if they wanted to. I'd had a request for that. And Guy talked to Andy Lechner, and Andy came back and suggested that we call the tournament the ISF Senior World Cup. And that led to a meeting with Don Porter. Don approved it, and we were off and running with the Senior World Cup events. In later years, we also created another tournament in Plant City, Florida, the World Tournament of Champions, and together those are now some of the most popular senior tournaments in the country. So I would like to say thank you tonight to Lester and to Charles, to Guy, Andy, and Don. And I would especially like to thank Don Porter. I know he's here. In 1995, when he was still with ASA, he encouraged us to become an allied member of ISSA, and then a few years later, when he was with the ISF, he gave the go-ahead to add the ISF Senior World Cup to the ISF program. Thank you, Don. And I don't want to forget the ASA commissioners and staff around the country that have helped us with the senior program. There are several in 12 states that work with us regular, year after year. But I'd like to especially mention the late Frank Taylor, Andy Dooley, and Henry Pollard, our commissioners in Virginia, who have always been supportive of everything we did in the senior program. And tonight I say thank you to ASA. And in closing, I want to pay special thanks to my family. 5 of our 7 children are here tonight. Sarah, Greg, David, Amy, and Kathy, and my son-in-law, Ron. I said earlier that we were unique, and not many others can call on their adult children to staff 5 softball complexes with experienced tournament directors for a world championship event. And if I might, I will single out my son, Greg, for assuming more and more of the workload for our events and handling all of the scheduling for about 30 tournaments annually. He and I form a great team. He does all the hard work, and I get to fly around the country telling cities they need to have a senior tournament in their city. And before leaving the podium, I have to recognize my wife, Ann. We have been married for 52 years, and she has been by my side through the entire journey. This past year alone, we traveled together to 15 senior tournaments all over the country. Thank you, honey, for your continuous support. I've had a great venture through the world of softball, and tonight I'm announcing my plan to retire. Greg, I plan to step down on July the 27th, 2041. somebody needs to stay around and get things organized for the 90 and over and 95 and overs. They will soon be on the field with their new titanium knees and hips, and with the latest high-tech bats, they'll still be swinging for the fences. So thank you all. Thank you to ASA. Thank you to ISF. And thank you, ET. Please convey my appreciation to the ISF leadership. Thank you.
Congratulations, RB. Our first inductee for the National Softball Hall of Fame is from Hilton Head, South Carolina, and is the 62nd fast pitch player to be inducted. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Darrell Day. Darrell started his softball career with the local Aurora, Illinois softball league before word of his talent reached the notable men's fast pitch team, Aurora Home Savings. Throughout his 15 years of play in men's major fast pitch, Day collected 4 first-team All-American titles, 3 second-team All-American accolades, and earned 1 national championship. Starting in 1973, Darrell was a mainstay for the Home Savings for 8 years, where his strong glove at first base helped lead the team to 4 consecutive runner-up finishes. In 1981, he joined the Decatur ADM, where he would earn his first national championship. During his 4 years with Decatur, Day compiled a career average of .358 with 173 RBIs and 26 home runs. He also made a name for himself on the international scene, playing with the USA Softball men's fast pitch team in 1979 at the Pan American Games, where the team earned silver. Tonight, Darrell becomes a member of the ASA USA National Softball Hall of Fame now and forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer Darrell Day.
This is coming through. Good. I just also thank you all very much for this honor. It's greatly appreciated, and I feel honored to be here. Also want to congratulate the other inductees and be a part of this class of 2014. I will tell you that I noticed from meeting all of us that Stacy is the only one with a full head of hair. So I'm not quite sure if that was a criteria for this year's class or not for the men. I want to thank, before I get that far, I better say that any of you that are looking at football scores, give my wife the score to the Ohio State game. She's a diehard Ohio State fan. So I want to thank Don Brewer and the selection committee for seeing fit to honor me with this great honor. You know, it's 31 years ago I stopped playing this game, and I really didn't think much about the Hall of Fame. It never ever crossed my mind. And when Don Brewer called me in, 18 months ago, I guess, and suggested he was going to nominate me for the Hall of Fame, would I be interested? Well, it was an easy answer. And anyway, he started talking through the things that he was going to need, and he says, I'm going to need some statistics from when you played and some honors. I says, Don, I have no statistics. None. I said, well, he says, I've nominated some people from ADM, so I have those statistics. And we'll have to get some from Aurora. And I said, well, I know an individual I can call, and we'll see how that works. And he says, you'll need some newspaper articles. I said, I have no newspaper articles. He said, well, we'll have to see what we can get for them. And he went on to talk a little bit about the process. And so afterwards, I called the individual up in Aurora that used to have all the statistics, Ed Kerner, yeah. And I told Ed about the call, and we talked a little bit about that. And I said, well, Ed, I'm going to need the statistics that you had from all the years with home. He says, well, that's going to be kind of hard. I had them all in the basement, and the water pipe broke, and they all flooded. I said, well, I hope you have a really good memory. But anyway, he said, William Pfeiffer Sr. kept one for his son, Bill, who played then, and luckily they were able to put together statistics that enabled me to get to this place. I guess when you start down this path, you have to always start at the beginning, and that goes to my mother and father. My mother was Doris Day, yes, the Doris Day. I don't have any Gregory Peck or Rock Hudson signed autographs, but anyway, and my father was Clarence Dock Day. I had an older sister, an older brother, and they taught all of it the grip of the bat, and I pounded it on the ground, and I took a couple practice swings, and I tossed it up in the air again, bounced at my feet. Luckily, Mom called me in for dinner. So I skipped into dinner, and I walked into the kitchen. She says, well, how you do? And I says, Mom, I'm an awesome pitcher. And that's the type of confidence that they instilled in us as children. I first started in organized ball when I was in 9th grade, started in Little League. And I think sports teaches you a lot about life and how to live it. And as I went through all the years of organized baseball, the first 2 lessons that my father made a point of occurred to me in Little League. I was 9 years old, played right field, 2 runners on base, the bottom of the 6th inning, a fly ball to me, and I dropped it. Crushed, absolutely crushed. Heads down, tears flowing, walk off the field, get in the back of the car, and my dad says, you know, son, there's not a dang thing you can do about the air. You can never change it. So it doesn't do any good to feel bad about or sorry about it. Just learn from it and move forward. And I always took that forward as I went through the rest of my life. And I had a second lesson when I was 11 years old. We were playing this team, and we were just killing them, Little League. Everything we hit found a hole, or they couldn't field it, or whatever happened, and we were joking around and having a gay old time and laughing it up and slapping around, and I was excited about the game. I thought we did well. I got in the car, and Dad says, you know, I'm not very happy about that game. So I said, what? He says, you know that when you play a game, okay. It's your responsibility to play to the best of your ability always. And what you did out there, you embarrassed your opponent, and you made fun of your opponent. And you owe it to your teammates to make sure that you always play your hardest, play your best, and always be respectful of those that you play against. You owe it to your sponsor to your sound. Okay, thanks. And it's your responsibility also to make sure that your teammates play with that type of enthusiasm and effort. He said, and you made it tough for the fans because their children are out there and your actions were making fun of how they were playing. And you owe it to yourself to always give 100% and play to the best of your ability. I went on through my younger days in my career, and I developed those thought processes and those characteristics, and they became really a part of who I was. It's hard to put into words, but the development of those characteristics made me a very successful athlete, made me a very good individual, and it also helped me in my professional life. When I think back to, there's a lot of people we all have to thank, but I wouldn't even be playing this game if it wasn't for a gentleman by the name of Jerry Paul. He was a farmer in Winnebago, Illinois. And I took my first job out of college in Pecatonic, Illinois, just outside of Rockford. And I played AAU basketball for a team out of Rockford. And he was a part of that program, and he asked if I wanted to play fast pitch softball in the summer. I said, sure. And that's how it all started. After that, as I think back for others to think, I have to thank my teammates. You know, a lot of us are here tonight because of our individual statistics. But none of those statistics are possible without your team. And I have some great memories of all the people I had the privilege to play with and against. I also want to thank the coaches. I had a lot of coaches through my career who gave their expertise and their time to help me be a better person and player. I also have to thank 3 of my children who spent the summers at the ballpark. And if you played there, I'm sure there's not a better place really to grow up. And my daughter Cindy, my daughter Julie, and my son Derek all turned out to be great individuals. And I think being at the ballpark was a big help to that. As I look back over the career, I think one of the things I remember the most are the relationships with the people that you played with and against, and the relationships you built with all of the people that were a part of the game. And before I close, and I told Craig I'd be quick because he said he'd be quick, that I have to straighten out one thing that I told you. My mother is Doris Day. She is the Doris Day to me, but she was from Keswick, Iowa. And she lived in Rock Island, Illinois, and the only time she was ever in California is when she went to the 1962 Rose Bowl to see the Hawkeyes play in the Rose Bowl. I'd like to close using some words from an author by the name of Rowan Tenen. And I dedicate these words with great love and appreciation to my mother, my father, and to my wife Joanne, who's the love of my life and who has made my life a great place to be. You raised me up to climb on mountains. You raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raised me up to be more than I could be. Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, Daryl. Our second inductee is from Wadley, Alabama, and is the 34th men's slow pitch player to be honored. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Craig Elliott. For years, Craig Elliott was considered as the top slow pitch player in the world. A menace at the plate, he became one of the most feared hitters in the men's slow pitch game and could change the game with one swing of the bat. Beginning in 1977, Elliott collected 11 consecutive ASA All-American titles and earned tournament MVP accolades 3 times. He also earned the home run leader title in 1983, 1985, and 1986. With the legendary Steels team, Elliott collected 3 ASA Men's Super Slow Pitch National Championship titles and finished runner-up once. He was also one of very few players to be selected MVP of the ASA Smoky Mountain Classic. His close friend and teammate once claimed, You could put a quarter in him and he would hit home runs all day. But not with that accent. Tonight, Craig becomes a member of the ASA USA National Softball Hall of Fame now and forever. It is my pleasure to bring up to the stage Hall of Famer Craig Elliott.
Well, I promised I would be short and sweet, so I will be. First of all, I'd like to thank all the people from ASA for this. It's just outstanding honor and privilege to be here. And I guess it's been a long time. I started playing softball when I was 11, and that's 51 years ago. So it's been tough. I stayed and played ASA ball for 38 years. In 38 years, I met a lot of people. It had a lot of fun. And ASA softball is a big part of my life. And it was fabulous. But to have this honor tonight would not be possible if I wouldn't have had great teammates, if I wouldn't have had great sponsors, and great coaches that helped me. I mean, you think back and you look all through the times, and they were always there. You had to have people that were supportive of you at all times. I'd like to thank God for giving me the ability to do it and giving me the desire to push that ability to the limits. It's just great to be here tonight in front of all of you and have this honor. Some of my closest teammates, I played with Mike Masinko a long time, and he is a real good friend. And I looked at a picture of the day. I was talking to a guy that umpired games when I started playing in Phoenix City in Columbus, Georgia. And there was 5 of us on the picture. There's only 2 of us alive today. So I'm thankful for that too. But, softball was a big part of my life for a long, long time. And I really appreciate the honor of being here tonight and being selected. And I'd like to thank my beautiful wife for changing my life over the last 8 years. I used to be a little bit of a renegade. I'm not quite as much now. But I'd like to say there's so many memories from when I played ball that I never forget. She gets on me about it all the time. She says, I can remember who made what out 30 years ago and can't remember what happened yesterday. And I do. And I guess when you play for so long, you have fun when you're playing. And I always enjoyed it, and I went out and gave it all I had every game because I had a college coach that told me, he said, if you go out and you give it all you got at the end of the game, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard says, you won the game because you didn't hold anything back. And I've always tried to live my life that way. And right now, it's, my life is great. I'd like to thank my wife for helping it to be that way because she keeps me in line a lot. And she'll tell you she'll keep me in line too. That's the worst part. But the ASA was it was just the governing committee of softball for so long that there wasn't anything else. When I started playing, to give you an idea how long it goes, you had industrial, church, and open. You played one of the 3. You took your whipping like a man. You either got better or you stayed at home. It was simple. Now they got so many divisions that, it's just so much different. And technology's changed a lot. And I'm thankful I played at the time I played. It was so much fun, and it's memories that I'll never forget. And in closing, I'd just like to thank all y'all for being here tonight, and I'd like to thank the ASA committee one more time for giving me this great honor. Thank you.
You did good. Sorry. Oh my gosh, he's got me tripping on my feet. Our third inductee of the night was a highly respected umpire from Mayville, Michigan, Mr. Ted Germain. You'd be hard-pressed to find an umpire who's worked in ASA USA Softball National Championship as often as Ted. He first registered as an umpire with the Michigan ASA in 1976, establishing a long and storied career as one of the most respected fast pitch and modified pitch umpires. He umpired at 14 ASA USA National Championships and also served as an umpire-in-chief in 42 state championships. A member of the National Indicator Fraternity since 1995, Ted became ISF certified in 1998 and was a member of the ASA Medals program at the elite level. He also appeared on the international scene, umpiring at the 2007 World Cup of Softball. At the local level, Ted served as a member of the Michigan ASA state umpire staff from 1991 until 2007 and was inducted into the Michigan ASA Hall of Fame in 1991. Sadly, Ted passed away earlier this year, but his legacy lives on. Tonight, Ted becomes a member of the ASA USA National Softball Hall of Fame now and forever. Here on his behalf is granddaughter Amy and her husband Josh Harrison, who will be accepting the award on his behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Josh Harrison.
Thank you very much for allowing my wife and Amy to come here on behalf of Ted. Some of you may wonder why Amy and I have gone through all the trouble coming all the way out here from Michigan just for the weekend. And personally, I'm wondering why I'm facing my two most crippling fears, flying and speaking in public. I'm here for Ted, or Gramps as Amy liked to call him. When his wife told us that he was being inducted, we knew that Ted wanted to be here, and he knew it was such an honor. And we knew as soon as he was diagnosed and ultimately lost his battle with cancer, Amy and I knew that we were going to be here for him no matter what. My first most vivid memory of Ted going out of his way for me, myself, was him just coming to a high school baseball game that I was pitching in, 2 hours away, just to come and watch me play. Other than that, you know, we met at Christmas, Thanksgiving, and a few family events, and that's it. And I still remember them coming down the hill that day, camera in hand and smiles on their faces, even after we lost the game. As Ted's health declined, he needed help taking care of his property. Thankfully, my family and I were close by. I jumped at the chance to help him out. This meant we spent many early mornings and weekends together as I did the grass whipping, painting, staining, trimming, and whatever else was needed. Often he would be cleaning the umpiring equipment for games later that night. He impressed on me the importance of looking professional. He would shine his shoes, belt, and mask until he could see his reflection, doing all that while his pants and shirts hung neatly in the back of his van, so there were no wrinkles to be seen when he walked onto that field. I remember one morning we were talking about his game the night before, and I asked him about what made a pitching motion illegal. His eyes lit up like a child's on Christmas morning. He loved discussing the rules of the game with anyone that would listen. He loved the game and making the game better. Ted took a lot of pride in what he did as an umpire, especially in the umpires he groomed. I remember him making a point of watching games he wasn't umpiring, just so he could see a student of his that was working the game. Ted loved to teach. While Ted wouldn't toot his own horn, his colleagues were overwhelming in their praise for Ted, even if he was a University of Michigan football fan. He was dedicated as he was described as cool under pressure. He set a standard of excellence. He's an outstanding umpire, but an even better man. He was a leader by example. He's dedicated to helping others. He brought out the best of his fellow umpires. He is poised, knowledgeable, consistent, quietly confident, and a professional. He was in complete control. Ted would have graciously accepted these compliments, but credited others for all he was able to do and accomplish. First and foremost, he would have thanked Nancy, his wife of over 30 years. He would have thanked many of the umpires he had worked with, played with, and gotten into trouble with over the years, including Bill Humphrey, Jim Wolford, Jim Craig, Chris Armillo, Gary Evans, Bob Lawson, Paul Piernack, Brian Smith, Jeff York, Dave Schimpf, David Bitsema, David Swanson, Joseph Malik, Roger Vargo, Tom Ritus, Ron Horn, and Kevin Reno, as well as many others he had the honor of being a part of the umpiring family with. He also would have thanked Paul Costanzo of the Port Huron Times-Herald, Chad Wingert, formerly of the Tuscola County Advertiser, and Jeff Seidel of the Detroit Free Press, who each wrote touching articles about his career in teaching and coaching as well as umpiring. He would have thanked many others, many whom I do not know, and many more that would have allowed for him to fully express his gratitude. With Ted's health declining, I was impressed that he was so dedicated to the game that he loved. He continued to umpire at the ESPN Wide World of Sports in Orlando while on chemo and getting most of his stomach removed. Even when he came back to Michigan, he couldn't stop. He told me when I was working one morning around the house that he worked a doubleheader and he couldn't keep anything down. And that night he was scheduled to umpire another doubleheader a 4-minute drive away, which he also did not miss. That was 4 months before we lost him to cancer. It wasn't just the game that he was dedicated to. A few weeks ago, my wife Amy sent me a text message with a picture of our daughter Grace painting at our house. Grace said she was painting Grandpa Ted a picture for his birthday because she liked when she saw him last and he played Hungry Hungry Hippos with her. They last saw Grandpa Ted this past New Year's Eve, 2 weeks before he passed away, when he got on the ground and played Hungry Hungry Hippos with his great-grandchildren. This is why Amy and I are here for his Hall of Fame induction. He loved our kids so much, and he did anything for them, even get on the ground when he could barely move, and played a loud, obnoxious game. Being here to accept his honor for Ted is not something that we would have missed. Ted was humble as they came, but the walls of his house are covered in accomplishments. Not just his umpiring accomplishments, but also of what was most precious to him. His family. Pictures of his mother, Esther Scholl, his wife, Nancy Germain, who passed away less than a month ago, his 3 children and their spouses, 6 grandchildren and their spouses, and 5 great-grandchildren, Emma, Jackson, Grace, Callan, and Tyler, who he loved with everything that he had. Also present are the pictures of his other family, his family that all of you here represent today. The ones that came to have one last laugh with him as his health took a turn for worse, the ones that sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at his funeral, the family in blue. To finish, I would like to read a poem that his wife wrote for his induction into the Michigan ASA Hall of Fame. It's called "Tattered in Blue." He was barely old enough to cross the street alone. He practiced playing catch with a basket and a stone. His uniform was tattered, his glove a paper bag. No fancy cleats or sneakers, on his head a twisted rag. The years have not changed him, the game still draws the child. The difference, he's grown taller, the pitch is not so wild. His uniform has changed, his shirt can stand alone. His shoes, they shine so brightly, his reflection on them shone. Now they call him Blue, a keeper of the game. He's proud to be an umpire as he enters the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Our 4th inductee for the 2014 Hall of Fame class is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist as a member of the women's national team. Inducted in the category of women's fast pitch, ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Newman. A two-time Olympic gold medalist, Stacy Newman will go down in history as one of the best catchers in the history of women's fast-pitch softball. Newman competed in 3 Olympic Games, capturing the gold at the 2000 and 2004 Games, while claiming the silver medal in the 2008 Games. Newman first wore the red, white, and blue in 1995, when she earned gold at the ISF Junior Women's World Championship in Normal, Illinois. She set a tournament record at that event with 18 runs batted in. Her impressive power at the plate and strong performance behind it landed her a spot on the women's national team, where she would earn 2 Pan American gold medals and 2 ISF World Championships. On the national level, Newman won 2 ASA USA Softball National Championships with the Gordon's Panthers, coached by fellow Hall of Fame member Larry Mays. She also earned a second-team ASA All-American honor with the California Jazz. Newman retired following the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, China, leaving behind an Olympic legacy with 10 runs batted in and 3 home runs. In 2012, Newman, along with her 2004 U.S. Olympic softball teammates, was inducted into the U.S. Olympic Committee Hall of Fame. Tonight, Stacy becomes a member of the ASA USA Softball National Hall of Fame now and forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Newman.
I'm so fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane. From LA to Tokyo, I'm so fancy. Can't you taste this gold? Remember my name to blow.
I got anxious, what can I say? Well, first of all, what an amazing honor. And I have to say, I feel special being the only female this year. So I'm carrying the torch for all the ladies. And I also think I might have a few years shaved off my age as well from the other inductees. No offense, but congratulations to all of you and your accomplishments. This is a tremendous honor. It makes me feel old, to be honest. It seems like I just finished playing, and here I am standing in front of you and being inducted into the Hall of Fame. First of all, I want to thank all of the folks at ASA that supported myself, my teammates. ASA USA was it when I grew up. That's what we played, not only because that's what was out there, but it was the best. It was the national governing body of softball, and USA Softball was the ultimate goal for many of us. And so this was our path. Ron Radagonda, who's a fellow inductee tonight, we go way back. Ronnie Isham, I think Ronnie's here somewhere. All the years, Polly McCormick, Julie Bartell, all the folks at the national office that supported our mission and our goals of winning gold medals. So thank you to all of you as well. I had the honor and privilege of serving on this board of directors for a couple different terms. And honestly, I think that might earn me a Hall of Fame induction all by itself. But I do feel like that was a privilege to understand what this body is about. Because when you're an athlete, all you worry about is playing ball. And being a part of this group, it's a much bigger endeavor, this machine, if you will, of USA Softball and ASA. So I feel very privileged to have had the opportunity to serve my fellow athletes in that capacity for several years. Obviously, over the years, I had the privilege and honor of playing for some of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. The great Ralph Raymond was my first Olympic coach back in 2000. Talk about a legend. And I had the honor of getting him sort of on his way out of the game of coaching, although I hear he's still coaching, amazingly. Ralph Raymond, somewhere up in the Northeast. But again, as a young pup, to play for such a legend in the game was tremendous. Obviously, Coach Mike Candrea for the next two Olympic cycles, one of the greatest ever. So again, I had the honor of being mentored by some of the game's best. And I believe that all helps me now as I'm a coach. I coach in the college game, and I feel very blessed to have been mentored by those great men. And women as well, but the head coaches. Obviously, my teammates. As one of the other inductees mentioned, you know, as a team sport player, and especially as a catcher, let's be honest, catchers don't get much glory. It's all about the people you're surrounded by. And I had the absolute blessing of being surrounded by the best, not just on the field, but as human beings. Tremendous women that still influence me today, that I'm still friends with, but the relationships really are what I remember the most. The gold medals and the silver medal certainly are nice mementos of a great career, but really it's the people, it's the experiences, it's the travels that I was blessed enough to make. That's what really I carry with me every day. You know, as Doug mentioned, my first go-around was in 1995 when I was blessed to be on a part of the junior world team that played in Illinois. And it's funny thinking back because that was where it all started. And so much has happened for me and to me since then. But that first time putting on a USA uniform at 15 years old, I'm not sure you can truly understand how special that is. But that was my first time. And I remember I had a nice performance and we won the gold medal and it was amazing. And a few years later, or I guess it was maybe the next year, I was invited to try out for the 96 inaugural Olympic team. And as we know, softball had finally gotten to the Olympic level for that 96 games. And I was a high school senior, and I had the chance to go try out. So again, I am clueless as to the importance and the power of this moment, because I'm just brand new. I'm just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm happy to be there. And I remember going to this tryout and being surrounded by these women, many of whom had held on to their careers because they wanted that Olympic opportunity so badly. And they were playing past their primes. Many of them were. But they were there and they were busting their tails and they were trying to make that inaugural Olympic team. And I remember being there wetting my pants, pretty much. Wetting my pants, feeling completely out of my element. I didn't belong there. I didn't. I wasn't ready at that point. But I thank the Lord for that, the blessing of being there, because I got to see where I needed to be. Okay, here's where I am. I was good. I wasn't an Olympian. And I didn't make the team as I should not have. I wasn't at that level. But I got to be a part of such a momentous moment. This was the first Olympic softball team being selected. And I'm so thankful that I got to be there and rub elbows with so many of the game's greats. Again, many of whom were past their prime, still trying to make it happen. But it was a gift. And from there, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that was my goal now. Okay, I see where I am, I see where I need to go. And the future was in front of me. And I had the blessing again, 4 years later, to try out for the 2000 team. Totally different player, totally different mindset. I knew what I needed to do, and I was, at that point in time, I was ready. And the rest is history. But again, I'm so thankful that to be able to have been a part of that whole journey from the beginning to the end in one way or another, and also hopefully the future of Olympic softball. I know that that challenge is still in front of us. I know Ron is living that world every day, and I know I speak on behalf of myself and all of the players that still love and dream about that next pinnacle moment, and we still pray that it happens. And it feels like we're there, we're getting there, and it's very exciting. It'll be weird to watch it, to be honest, from afar, but I pray that the IOC gets it right, and Beijing, or Tokyo gets what they want, and softball gets back in the Olympics. Yeah, a little round of applause for that. And finally, and I saved this for last, my teammates and all those people are tremendous part of my success, but really, I'm here because of my family. And ironically, my parents, who have not missed a game in my entire 25-year career, couldn't make it here because they're in Tahiti. Tahiti, Reno, I mean, tough one. But they wanted to be here to share this special night. But my mom and dad, there are a few in this room that know them. I am a true embodiment of my parents as far as what they gave to me. My dad was the true navigator of my career. I used to joke that he's the mayor of softball. He's the mayor of softball, and he's always getting votes, always out shaking hands and kissing babies. Just very, very outgoing. He was the guy that really worked to make sure that I was in the right place at the right time, and playing for the right coach, Larry Mays, as we mentioned, a fellow Hall of Famer. So he really kind of navigated my career, instilled in me work ethic, and just all the things I needed on the field to be the best I could be. My mom was the balancer. She was the one that made sure I took ballet lessons. And I played this saxophone. And I was in the school play. And she made sure I had other things in my life besides sports and kept me grounded. She was the one that didn't care if I scored 26 points in the basketball game. But how was my attitude? Was I respecting the game? Was I playing it the right way? And that combination, I think, really is who I am, and blessed me and gave me the gifts I needed to be successful on the field and in life as well. So I thank my mom and dad and my brother as well for all their years of support. And now I have a family of my own, and they're actually in the back because the baby was not having it. He was not having it. I probably got spit up on my dress somewhere. But I am so blessed to have met my husband while I was still in my playing career. And he supported me through the sort of twilight years of my playing career. And I remember us sitting down at one point when we were dating, and I laid it out there, and I said, all right, here's the deal. This is what I do. This is my schedule. I travel, I play, I go away for weeks at a time. Can you handle this? Can you deal with this? And he didn't bat an eye, and he said, I'm in it for the long haul. And I knew he was a keeper. And now we have two beautiful children, Chase, who's 7, and our little baby Dylan is 3 months. And it's all about my family. And it's hard to balance work and life, as we all know. But I wouldn't do it for any other reason. And they keep me going. And tonight I'm actually wearing a necklace. It doesn't go with my dress. It's probably a fashion faux pas. But it is a picture that my son Chase drew of our family. And it has our house, and it has my husband Mark and myself, and it has Chase, and it has Dylan and our dogs, and it has a big sun. And it's just a happy picture, and it makes me feel so happy because that's what my life is about now. I had the opportunity to play a game and to compete and get honor and glory and newspaper articles and people asking for my autograph. And those days are over, and that's the cycle of life. I love where my life is now, and I'm thankful for my past, but I'm also very excited for the future. So to all the rest of the inductees, congratulations. Thank you so much for this honor, and again, the last thing I really is, let's see Olympic softball back where it belongs, on the program, and let's do it. Thank you.
Our 5th inductee for the 2014 Hall of Fame class is a legendary coach in the Junior Olympic program. Inducted as the 2nd JO coach in the manager category, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tommy Orndorff. Under the leadership of Coach Orndorff, the Shamrocks of Vienna, Virginia, established a tradition in fast-pitch softball that's hard to match. Since their first national appearance in 1977, the Shamrocks have been a force in the girls' junior Olympic world, qualifying for 25 ASA USA national championships and finishing in the top 10 on 9 occasions. In the early years of the Shamrock organization, not many East Coast teams competed competitively. But once Coach Orndorff organized the Shamrock program, that completely changed. In their 25 appearances at the ASA USA National Championships, the Shamrocks earned a total of 8 top 5 finishes, including a runner-up at the 2003 18 and under gold national championship. In 2005, they earned the ultimate title in JO championship play as the 18 under gold national champions. Tonight, Tommy becomes a member of the ASA USA National Softball Hall of Fame, now and forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Orndorff.
I am honored and humbled to be standing before you here tonight. The ASA National Softball Hall of Fame. Just saying that now, in this setting, gives me cold chills. In our sport, this is as good as it gets, and here I am. To be mentioned in the same breath as Larry Mays is pretty special in itself. This is a terrific night for Tommy Orndorff, and at the same time the Shamrocks, Bishop O'Connell High School, and most especially fast pitch travel ball softball. Hall of Fame committee, I thank you. And most especially, I would like to thank the person who really has made this evening a reality for me, my sponsor, and the ASA Commissioner for our Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, Mr. Jack Mallett. He has always been there for myself and the Shamrocks the last 30 years, and in many ways has been a mentor for me. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize tonight's other inductees. I hope that you are as excited about this evening as I am. Congratulations to each and every one of you. What a journey it has been. It's hard to imagine anyone who has a greater passion for or love of the game than I do. I've coached softball for almost 50 years. I've given my life to the sport since my early teenage years, serving as the scorekeeper for my sister's teams and as an assistant coach in my later teen years. Once I was of the age of 21, I was given my own team in the Vienna Pigtail Ponytail League House League softball program and have been a head coach ever since, most notably with the 18 and under Shamrocks from 1972 to 2010, and as a high school coach at Bishop O'Connell High School for the last 29 years. It has never been about me. It has always been about my players. And I've always done what is best for the team. Always. And I truly believe that is the main reason that my teams haven't enjoyed the success that they have. We have played the game the right way, and just as importantly, for the right reasons. We respect our opponents. We respect the umpires. We respect ourselves, our teammates, and our coaches. And most importantly, we respect the game itself. It is out of that respect for the game itself that we thrived. Doing the impossible in 2005 and winning the ASA 18 and under Gold National Championship in Salinas, California, the first East Coast team ever to do so. We were runner-ups in 2003. We played hard and with a purpose. Nobody played the game harder or with more drive and determination. We played with passion. 8 times we finished in the Final 5 at the ASA 18 and under national championships, having earned berths in those same nationals 22 straight years at one point. I love the game. I love teaching the game. I love competing against the best. I love teaching life's lessons through our experiences both on and off the field of play. I love everything the game entails. Always have, always will. I have been fortunate in that I've had an opportunity to learn from some of the legends of the game, firsthand, both one-on-one and at clinics, most especially Phil Bruder, Larry Mays, John Stratton, Cindy Bristow, Ralph Weekly, Dot Richardson, Sue Inquist, Kenny Erickson, Scott Whitlock, and Mike Candrea. I consider myself somewhat of a disciple of Mike Candrea and his teachings, especially when it comes to teaching hitting. Lessons learned through my experiences at the Globe newspapers, the Journal newspapers, Bishop O'Connell High School, and Georgetown University have served me well through the years. I have been blessed to do what I do. I truly believe that the Lord put me on this earth to do what I do. I have been blessed with so many outstanding players and assistant coaches, and I thank the Lord for that. He has been good to both me and my teams. From the very beginning, I've had some outstanding assistant coaches. This recognition tonight is a testament to their contributions. To mention a few: Al Anch, Tony Hyde, Mike Burrs, High School Gray, Karin Wheating, Mr. Caffey, Bud Jones, Tanya Spishak, Walt Chernico, Rich Haver, plus my confidant, Donna Shaw. Also another Hall of Famer, Jim Bracken, who coached my 16 and unders during our heyday at the 18s. These were the best of the best. I thank each and every one of you. In 2003, we became an Easton team. Our best stretch as a team coincided with that relationship. I would like to thank Easton for their support these past 11 years for the Shamrocks. And a special, special thank you to all my players, Virginians, Shamrocks, Georgetown, and O'Connell alike. Players win games. Don't let anybody kid you otherwise. Players win games. It's far too many to cite individually. I also want to thank my friends and family who are here to celebrate this moment with me, most especially Tanya Spishak, a former player, Head of School Dr. Joe Vorbach, and Athletic Director Joe Wooten, my brother-in-laws Kevin Vorse and John Karanikas, and my cousins Judy and Rod Sosby and Ronnie and Janet Hart, all of whom have traveled great distances to be here tonight. I thank you. Also, Kevin's brother Roger Vorse and Tony. And it goes without saying, I would like to thank my immediate family, my mother and father, and my 2 sisters, Linda and Janet. As should be expected, they are a big part of this. Much of my passion for sports can be attributed to their influences. My father for just that, instilling a passion and a love of the game itself, all sports for that matter. And my mother for giving me the drive and determination to do all that I have, and for giving me a kind, caring heart when compassion was necessary. And my sisters for their understanding and support in my coaching endeavors. Thank you, Mom, Dad, Linda, and Janet. Especially Dad. He would have been so pleased and proud on this evening and all that it entails. Here's hoping he has the best seat in the house tonight. May he rest in peace always. This is amazing. I am thrilled to be here. I thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you.
Our next inductee for the 2014 Hall of Fame class is someone we all know very well. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ron Radaganda. During his 15 years as executive director of ASA, the face of ASA USA softball evolved dramatically. Prior to accepting the executive director position, Radaganda worked with the city of Sacramento, California, in the Parks and Recreation Department for 28 years, and also served as executive director of the Sacramento Sports Commission and the Sacramento Sports Foundation. In 1982, he became the commissioner of the Sacramento ASA, where he served as chair of numerous committees and served on the board of directors. During his tenure as executive director of the ASA Hall of Fame complex underwent major renovations and continued its hosting duties for the NCAA Women's College World Series and the World Cup of Softball. He also helped foster a continuing relationship with the city of Oklahoma City. At the international level, Radaganda has served as delegate and committee chair for the International Softball Federation and currently serves as ISF executive director. Tonight, Ron becomes a member of the ASA USA Softball National Hall of Fame, now and forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Radaganda.
This is a little scary for me to be up here in front of this group. Now, I've been up in front of this group many, many times over the years, but it's always been in support of others. And it's a little bit different for me to be up talking a little bit about myself and the program that we're dealing with. So bear with me a little bit as we go through this. It's certainly a privilege and an honor to be here. I have always felt that I'm the most blessed guy in the world, and I've always pinched myself every day for the honor that I've had to be a part of the ASA and to be the executive director for those 16 years. First of all, congratulations to all the other inductees and all the Hall of Famers that are in the room tonight. It certainly is an honor to join you in the ASA USA Softball Hall of Fame. I have to point out a special individual who was inducted tonight, and that's Stacy Newman. In the fact, Stacy, if you didn't hit that home run against China, I might have not kept my job. Because we got into the 2000 Olympics and we had suffered 3 losses in a row. We were 1 loss from being eliminated from the medal rounds, and Stacy seemed to hit a 3-run home run against China in extra innings. And you probably saved my job, Stacy, so I really appreciate that for your doing that. Thanks to the ASA and the Hall of Fame Committee for bestowing this honor on me. I really am truly humbled by it because it's been, as I said, my honor to serve you and serve this organization for the years that I have. Cody, I have a little special thing for you. You told me I had 5 minutes to speak. Now, for any of you who have been part of ASA, and the 15 years I was here, I would start the opening session of the ASA with about a 2-hour presentation. And that was to cap 1 year, Cody. I have been in this program since 1967, is when I started in my career in San Francisco. So now you want me to do this in 5 minutes. I don't know how anybody can do that. I have to start from the beginning, and that is in San Francisco, and thank someone who's no longer with us, but he was the ASA commissioner in San Francisco, Mr. Hal Flynn, who gave me my first job. And I had an opportunity to start a program in San Francisco in the field of Parks and Recreation that lasted about 30 years before I moved on to on ASA. There's a whole group of people here from Sacramento that I have to honor. You guys need to stand up and be honored by this group, please. This is the GSSA. This is the group that was really the instrument that made it happen for me. You know, part of the recognition I got in dealing with and applying for the position of executive director for the ASA really came from the success that we had in Sacramento. And I really do owe a lot of my career and the success I've had with the people who were there from Sacramento from the very beginning. First and foremost is Garth Gunnarsson. Gunnar was a fellow employee with me in the city of Sacramento. We served 27 years together in Sacramento. In those 27 years, we played fast pitch softball, we played slow pitch softball, and we played basketball. Now, Gunnar, I don't know how we did it, because in the time of our playing ball, we were also administering tournaments almost every single weekend that we were part of, and had the opportunity to run one of the best basketball tournaments in really anywhere on the West Coast in the March of Dimes, and that we had that going for about 50 years from the time, and we took it over, and we actually ran that for about 25 years together. One of the great opportunities I had. Stan Fingerut, who was our umpire-in-chief and Region 14 umpire-in-chief for a number of years, is no longer with us, but Stan was really instrumental in what we able to do with GSSA and get the things that were started there. Dave Maudsley, certainly umpire-in-chief in Region 14, umpire-in-chief was a big part of that, and Jeff Duchansky. And Jeff, it still is only a couple hours a week to be the commissioner, is what I told him when I got the job with ASA, because I knew we needed to have somebody to take over and really make it work. And Jeff was a park and rec professional as well, working for the Fulton El Camino Recreation and Park District. His background was really big in slow pitch softball. Gunnar and I were the fast pitch guys, and we really made a great team, because Jeff made a lot of things happen, and he really has taken GSSA to the next level. There's a whole bunch of people out here from GSSA. I can't go and name every single one of you, but for all of you, thank you for all you did for the organization. You guys are just really special to me. I can tell stories about almost everybody in this room, because I've had an opportunity to be with you in so many different places. I will do one thing with Doug Lindemann, who is the head of the Hall of Fame. Doug and I had the opportunity to work in 1991 at the Olympic Sports Festival in Los Angeles, and this is a guy from Iowa. Remember, he's from Iowa. I took him to Venice Beach, so he could see the people, what goes on in Venice Beach. Now, the thing that was really amazing was the guy that was juggling the chainsaws was pretty important to Doug, because he took a whole roll of film of this guy. So we had a great time, and it was really an opportunity for me, as I was part of the ASA, it really had an opportunity for me to get to know so many more people who were a part of ASA and what they did. It's a great organization, and really I owe this award to everybody that's in this room, because all of you have shared the passion of the game that I have had for so many years. And you've made the game as great as it is. And I'm, again, just very honored to have this as being a part of what I've been able to do in a career. To the ASA USA professional staff, the people who served, those 28 people at the national office, you all get a part of this, because all that you have done over the years in working together with us, we really had a great team. I have been very, very fortunate that I inherited some great people when I got to ASA. And some of them, they're still there and still doing a great job for that. You know, probably one of the things that's most important to me about ASA is that when I stepped down, somebody that I hired took over. And Craig, I am just so honored to say that I'm so proud of you for what you've accomplished in your career, not only as an umpire, as a Hall of Famer, but now taking over ASA and the job you're doing. Thanks for keeping it going. I really do appreciate it. You should give him a hand. He deserves it. I owe a lot to all the council members that are a part of this, those 240 plus voting members who have been a part of it and along this journey with me. All that you've done has been very important. Very special to me is everybody in Region 14. You know, we all have our own regions that we come from. We all think our region is the best, but you know, I have to say that the people in Region 14 and the support they've given me when I was the commissioner in Sacramento and then on as the executive director has really been important, and certainly have a great team of people out of Region 14 and have done such a great job, and I owe you guys so much, and I thank you so much for what you've done. To all of our national team coaches that have been part of what we've done, whether it be the men's fast pitch, men's slow pitch, women's fast pitch, or our junior programs, all of our coaches have done a great job. And you know, Tommy, you said it best. It's about the players and who we are, and we all have the opportunity to serve them as well. Our coaches have just been outstanding, and we've really had great performances on the field. And it really has come from just having great players, but it's also having from great coaching staff, and they really have made a difference. Very, very blessed to have had two great national team directors in Ralph Weekly, who Tommy mentioned, and also Ronnie Isom, who've done just this tremendous job with our national team program. It was an honor to work with you guys, and I really am so pleased and blessed to have that as part of what I've done. You know, and now it needs to get to the harder, this is really the harder part for me, and that's dealing with the friends and family who've made this happen. Very, very blessed tonight to have my dear friend and somebody I grew up with in San Francisco, and he can tell you all the real stories about me and growing up in my softball, Mr. Mitch Jurasich and his wife, Lynn. They're here. Mitch and I became friends when we were probably 6 or 7 years old, played a lot of catch under the streetlights, and for those of you that aren't from big cities and you really haven't had the opportunity to do this, we actually played the game of softball on blacktop with the field painted on the ground. They had parks and playgrounds in San Francisco, and parks had grass and playgrounds didn't. Playgrounds were asphalt, and we actually played softball on asphalt with the bases painted on the ground, pitchers painted on the ground. Back in the days when I played a long time ago, it was all wooden bats, and you used to have this little yellow cap that fit over the bottom of your knob, so when you drop the bat on the ground, it wouldn't break. But Mitch can tell you all the stories about playing at Eureka Valley Playground and playing at Mission Dolores Park and the things that we did growing up and playing. Very blessed also in my professional career, and somebody that is now a part of the ASA family, has been for a long time, but is part of the national staff, Mr. John Miller. John was the Park and Rec Director in Pacific Grove, California, was the NorCal Commissioner in California. We have had over a 20-year relationship of building softball together, and I am very proud of the fact that he came to Oklahoma City to serve, serving as the membership director now under Craig, and is an individual, as a true professional and a true friend. And John, I thank you every day for your coming to Oklahoma City and making ASA what it is today. To my family, Mike and Kelly, my sons, Courtney, Mike's wife, Dominic and Ella, my grandkids, you guys are special. You mean everything to me. The family is truly a big part of what we do. You guys have sacrificed a lot because I've always been on the road or having things that have taken place. We have arranged birthday dinners away from birthdays because of the fact that I travel. You guys have always understood, and to me that's really important. I'm very, very blessed to the fact that I got started in this honestly. My dad was a fast pitch pitcher, pitched in the industrial leagues. I owe my mom and dad a lot because they taught me right from wrong, and they taught me to be an individual who really believed in themselves and believed in what they could do. It was great watching my dad. I started this career as a bat boy and made it to an executive director role, so that's pretty special to me. And last but not least, I call her Miss Glenda because Miss Glenda, my wife, I got that from Brian McCall. Brian McCall was in our communications department when I first came to ASA. The thing about Brian, he was from the South in Alabama. When he first met Glenda, he called her Miss Glenda, and I think it stuck. We've called her Miss Glenda since then. My wife is very, very special. You have to be, I think she's crazy because she married me, first of all. But I think that she's very special in the fact that she's understood what my career is. She's understood what it took to get things done. She's been a part of it every step of the way. She became such a big part of our journey with the Olympic teams in going to Sydney and going to Athens and going to Beijing. She has been very, very supportive of all the things that we've done. I said this last year when they had a reception for me at the ASA conference, and I'll say it again. My wife reinvents herself all the time. She was a tremendous individual working in the television field, was highly successful, decided she didn't like the corporate world anymore, and she made herself an artist. She's a glass artist. She has her own studio and gallery in Guthrie, Oklahoma. She's a glass blower. A lot of her work now sits in the Oklahoma City Museum, which I'm very, very proud of and very proud of her. She decided that she wanted to get back into acting, and she's back doing that. She's acting again, and she's also part of commercials, so I see her with her television husbands work and not with me, so it's a little bit strange. But, you know, I'm just so honored and I'm so blessed to be a part of this. Thank you for each and every one of you for sharing my passion for our game. You guys have made it so special for me. And to be a part of this great family of people with ASA, I am the most blessed person in the world. So to all of you, thank you very much.
Our final inductee for the 2014 Hall of Fame class is the 16th individual to be inducted in the sponsor category. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bruce Tansky. The New York Gremlins softball team has made a name for itself on the field thanks to Bruce Tansky, who has sponsored the team for over 40 years. Tansky's commitment led to a long and storied career with ASA for the Gremlins, including a recent runner-up finish at the Men's Major Fast Pitch National Championship in 2014 and 2013, and a championship in 2012. Since 1987, Tansky's teams have appeared in 15 national championships, earning 4 third-place finishes and 3 runner-up titles. Tonight, Bruce becomes a member of the ASA USA Softball National Hall of Fame, now and forever. Unfortunately, Bruce could not be with us this evening, so accepting the award on his behalf is assistant coach for the USA Softball Men's National Fast Pitch Team, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Greg Leather. Greg?
Good morning, everybody. I'm from New York. I talk kind of fast. They're handicapping me with this a little bit because I talk with my hands. First of all, congratulations to all the inductees for this well-deserved honor. My name is Greg Leather. I'm honored to be here representing Bruce Tansky. I've had the pleasure of running the New York Gremlins for Bruce for the past 10 seasons. Bruce regrets not being able to be here, but he had back surgery last week, and he's not able to travel yet. I'd like to start off by thanking Southern New York Commissioner Glenn Payne for recognizing and nominating Bruce for the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame Committee for selecting him, Cody and the National Office for all the work they put in this event, and our Gremlin family for attending. I'd also like to recognize Hall of Fame manager Denny Bruckert, who also coached the Gremlins for a couple of years and is the current USA Men's National Manager. Bruce wanted me to thank his wife Carol, his daughter Andrea, for their support through the years, and all the players coaches that have worn the Gremlin uniform for the past 40-plus seasons. Bruce started the Gremlins back in 1970, and the team has been operating continuously since that time. Bruce has had many roles with the team he started, including player, manager, and sponsor. His team had local success immediately, and eventually started having regional and national success, placing in the top 3 of the major modified nationals 3 times. When Bruce asked me to help run the Gremlins a decade ago, he had a vision for creating a team that would become sort of a dynasty. He laid out his plan, and he let me run with it. I'm proud to say our first season together, we won a national championship. 2 years later, we moved the team into men's major fast pitch. In the 8 seasons we've been playing in the highest division of men's fast pitch, we've been in the championship game of the ASA for 5 years, and we won 2 national championships, and we've never finished out of the top 5. I regularly receive emails from players all over the globe looking to play for the Gremlins, and that's all the result of Bruce Tansky and what he's put into this program. The wins and titles are great achievements, but they don't really tell the story of Bruce and his generosity to this game and life in general. Mr. Tansky's sponsorship extends to much more than his team's on-field accomplishments. In a day when finding a team sponsor can seem futile effort, Bruce has kept his commitment to the game going, which he loved so dearly for over 40 years. Even now, his business and family no longer let him travel with the team. He continues as one of the most dedicated sponsors in the sport. The joy in his face when we meet over lunch to discuss the team makes it clear how much the sport has given to him, and he's certainly given his fair share back. Bruce came from humble beginnings. He's a self-made successful businessman. He likes to joke that he owns a bar, but he doesn't drink. He owns a golf course. He doesn't play golf. His 2 vices, as he likes to call them, are fast cars and softball. I couldn't begin to list all the organizations and teams that Bruce's generosity has extended to. Any player or friend who has ever found himself in need knows that Bruce is someone they can count on. The charities that he contributes to and holds events at his golf course and his clubs are too many to list. Andrew Carnegie once said, "Surplus wealth is a sacred trust which its possessors is bound to administer in his lifetime for the good of the community." That is an ideal which Bruce Tansky lives up to every day. In closing, I'd like to say to the members of the Hall of Fame Committee Not only did you get it right by putting a great sponsor in the hall, you have welcomed an even better man. Thank you, and thank you, Bruce, for your friendship. I got the number 5.
Congratulations again to our class of 2014 and to R.B. Thomas for being inducted into the ISF Hall of Fame. Thank you to everyone else for attending tonight's banquet. As a reminder, the Hall of Fame class of 2015 will be announced on Thursday, November 13th during the General Council session. At this time, I would like to invite all 8 honorees up here to the front for one more round of applause. And we're also going to sneak in a picture. Let's keep giving them a round of applause. They deserve it. Congratulations again, and thank you everyone for attending. That concludes tonight's festivities. Everyone enjoy your evening.